Hey babes, it's Les.
And Lo, and we are at one of our favorite hidden gems in Atlanta, the Estate.
The Estate.
For this episode of Cocktail Hour with Leslo.
Come on in.
Good afternoon. My name is Marvin. I am a lead bartender with Legendary Events. Today we're going to make a sophisticated cocktail that is the Cosmo Martini. Always start by chilling my glass with some nice cold ice water. A little ice in the shaker. Making 2 Cosmos, so this is 4 count. Splash of triple sec cranberry. Give it a good shake. Pour out your ice, strain and pour. Garnish with the lime wheel. Squeeze fresh lime in there. And there you go.
Okay guys, what's up? It's Les and Lo, and we are at the Estate with Legendary Events. And our
With the lead bartender.
period. Who's gonna teach us how to, we went to taste our drinks. This is a real tea behind the scenes. And we picked up the glasses.
I did it wrong.
So, we're gonna learn today for all the ladies who need to look poised and sophisticated. With the it's very much Sex in the City cocktail. So he's gonna teach us how to properly pick up the glass and tell us why, because you gave us some good tips.
The reason you pick a Cosmo up this way versus this way is because
That's what
you will warm the drink up
Okay.
if you grab it this way with your fingertips.
Okay.
So this is actually how you properly pick it up and hold it.
So it doesn't have to be low on the stem,
And
right?
this is how you drink it.
Oh.
Teach us the
Okay.
proper etiquette.
So you gotta chime in. Okay. So pretend you're at a bar. And you're picking up your drink.
Hello.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
Is there a proper way to cheers?
You want to, one up a little high, one low,
Okay.
and you want to do that versus this.
So you gotta do one high, one low, and you just
Pretty much.
Cheers.
That's it.
cheers. Do I look like Harry Press?
I look like a classy girl.
Yay!
A classy girl.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Marvin.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I'll never pick up a drink another way again.
Me neither. Never below you, never above you. No, that's it.
Never above you, never below you, always beside you. Cute!
I love. Welcome back and welcome to the Estate. We are so excited to be filming inside of one of our favorite hidden gems in Atlanta, the Estate.
Literally, I adore this venue. I know in previous
Yes.
episodes, we talked about kind of our different vibes when it comes to weddings. I'm very much like intimate, warm, homey, and this is giving
Everything that you are.
everything that I am.
Intimate, sexy,
Literally.
classy.
And it just feels so warm. And so
Yes.
I just adore this venue. And this team is legendary.
Pun intended.
Pun intended.
So the Estate is owned and operated by Legendary Events, which is an immaculate, legendary team here in Atlanta who were
Immaculate.
so kind and let us film our episode inside one of our faves.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to drop some pics. One of
Yeah.
my favorite weddings of all time that we ever did
Yes,
was
the
at this
Killians.
venue for the Killians. We're gonna have Tico drop in a couple of dings,
Pics.
ding,
So you guys
ding.
can see.
So you guys can just see kind of the beauty and warmth and ambiance of this
Yeah.
incredible space. And this is just one of a few. They also have Flourish.
So Flourish is more my vibe.
Ooh.
Not that this isn't, because I love the Estate. But
Yeah.
Flourish, it's big, it's nice, it's modern, elegant.
It's definitely giving a contemporary, like
It's giving me.
turn up, modern vibes, where this is kind of more warmy and classic and like traditional. And a fun fact about this space that I recently learned is that this is actually a property that was relocated from like over 120 miles away. Like brick by brick.
Come on, history.
Okay, history. I wasn't a history major. But I just think that that's incredible. There's such an incredible like heritage and history. And I think it really did bring with it this Southern charm, and like its location is in the city, but it does feel like you're worlds away almost with the way that they've built out the space. So shout out to the estate. Shout out to Legendary.
Make sure you cheers right.
For having it. Oh,
Marvin taught us.
shout out to Marvin, because this venue is everything classy. This cocktail is giving classy, and I think like class is in session today.
Yes. For cocktail hour with Leslo.
For cocktail hour with Leslo. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about, we recently saw our grandmother. If you guys follow us, you probably know Vernetta or have seen her.
Good old Vernetta.
Especially on Leslie's page. So first of all,
Grandma.
Hey Grandma. She watches every episode and has feedback.
She does.
We love you and adore you and just value everything that you've taught us. And I know we've had
that you have poured into us.
Okay. Not poured.
Very passionately.
One of the things that our grandma was a stickler about growing up was etiquette, and just in this classy establishment and with this classy Cosmo, okay? Because I feel
classy cosmopolitan.
I feel
you
like
cheersed wrong.
Oh, okay. It's giving very much Sex in the City, Carrie Bradshaw vibes, but I feel like it's an appropriate time to talk about. I know we always kind of, you know, we've talked about like old versus new and traditions in past episodes.
But millennials, some of y'all don't know proper etiquette on things.
Well, I think the larger point is like there are things that we should still carry with us as millennial and Gen Z. And while we're different and there's new ways of working and operating, there are some fundamental things that are just good to know.
Old school values, as Vernetta says.
Not the old school. The old school.
The old school values and etiquette are still important.
100%. So we thought it would be fun to kind of do a quiz. And I hope you guys actually participate in this little game. So starting off with Etiquette 101 with Leslo. Tink.
And it actually started with the lead bartender of Legendary Events, Marvin.
Hello.
Who taught us earlier how to, one, pick up a cosmopolitan, because I was doing it wrong. So I learned something. Thank you, Marvin. But also how to properly cheers. So cheers to Marvin.
I know we up to it, down to it. We do it because you're used to it. But speaking of cheers, and let's just talk about some dinner etiquette. One of the things that's been so fascinating to me is how many people don't know how to set a table.
Fascinating is a really good word.
You know?
We've done a lot of events, from weddings, from dinners, intimate, and a lot of people don't know how to set a table.
Even like catering teams, which has been odd. So game number one, quiz number one, pop quiz. I feel like a teacher. Pop quiz. 3 seconds. Let's pretend we're in math.
The timer will be above my hand.
Order of operations, right? Left to right. Name your utensils and how you would set a table. Dun,
and go.
Dun, 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 dun. Pause. Should we have made them comment it? They're not going to comment it because they're going to be shamed. Well, I'll tell you the correct way.
Yeah, please share. And actually, before you share, so we learned how to set a table because of our grandmother.
That's true.
Vernetta, she taught us how to properly set a table. So shout out to her. I know she's watching.
And I just think it's relevant information, whether you're having a special event, whether you're having a dinner party at your house, or just general knowledge. I think this is one of those old school things that's good to know. The answer is order of operation, setting a table, forks, plate, knife, spoon. Should there be an acronym? FPKS?
I think that would help the people.
I can't think of anything.
I think that would help the people. But
I just think it's just good information to know. So if you're having a party this summer, if you're hosting a dinner party.
Or if you're at dinner, attending dinner, you want to make sure that you're eating with the proper utensil in the right order.
That is correct.
It's embarrassing if you're not.
Okay.
You can't be a classy lady and drink a classy Cosmo.
One of the things that we also run into a lot is corsage and boutonnieres and what the appropriate side is. So let's talk about corsages and boutonnieres. I think that's timely and relevant. Starting off with our ladies, pop quiz. What side does a corsage go on? Okay, the whole song. The answer is the right. Ladies, your corsage should go on the right.
Yeah. If you're gonna wear one, because it also is trendy now. You don't have to wear a corsage.
Very true.
You know. A lot of parents like, you know, the idea of wearing a corsage. So if you are, just make sure that you have it on the right wrist.
And especially if you're helping, like a lot of our like bridal party or people in your family who are coming in, especially wedding days, know that it's on your right.
Make sure you're putting it on the right side.
Boutonnieres. Boutonnieres.
Yeah.
And we won't make you guys pause for the hold music, but the answer is the left side. Boutonnieres go on the left. So if you're wearing a boutonniere,
please don't put it on the wrong side.
Please don't put it on the wrong side.
Please put it on the correct side.
Amen. Grandma would be proud.
Cheers to boutonnieres.
Cheers to boutonnieres. Cheers to Vernetta.
Cheers to Vernetta.
What else should we talk about in our etiquette lessons?
So one of the things that we see a lot that is not so great from an etiquette perspective is timeliness.
Oh, wait. Are you about to go in on me?
I just think, and I know we did a rant on a previous episode.
Yeah.
I just think that we do need to do better. I think that that really falls in the etiquette category of being on time to weddings and to events, right? One of the things that we see a lot at weddings that is not cool is this whole experience or feeling of guests. They feel like they can just pop their phones in the middle of the aisle.
That's such a
and
good
be the
one.
Videographers.
Yes.
And I don't like it.
I feel it. Well, I think that leads into etiquette too, right?
It does.
So like when is it appropriate to
Pull out your phone.
Pull out your phone at an event? If it's unplugged and you're not supposed to have your phone out, the answer is never.
I just think like even outside of unplugged.
Yeah.
I honestly, transparently think it's disrespectful.
Well, even if it's unplugged, I get it. You love the people who you're there to celebrate.
You want to be excited.
You want to be excited. You want to capture the moment. We are a social culture and generation. So naturally, I think we pull out our phones. But I think that what that does on the flip side is when videographers and photographers are trying to get the shots that are going to be the lifetime memories for these couples, our iPhones stretched out in the aisle. So you should know that even if something is unplugged, typically there will be a moment where the team, the officiant, whoever allows people before the processional to take a photo or recessional on their way out, to take a photo of the couple.
From a guest perspective, thinking about guest etiquette when you're attending an event, I just think the proper etiquette is to not have your phone out at a ceremony, whether it's unplugged or not. I think whether that's communicated or not, I just think it's not proper to pull your phone out during an intimate moment.
But I think especially when the couple is entering and exiting, because all you see is the phones. Other shots we can work around when they're at the altar. We can usually work around the phones, but coming up and down the aisle, if you must, right? We would encourage you to just wait until they make it there before you pull your phone out and get the videos.
Well, let's talk about attire, honey.
I was gonna say, you're a mind reader. That's the other thing. It plays into etiquette.
It does.
But I'm surprised how many people don't understand like what the kind of attire cues and what dress codes means. And so maybe we can do just a quick little mini lesson on the different types of attire and kind of what that means.
And what's appropriate and not appropriate.
Yeah.
I feel like Gen Z and millennials sometimes get confused and sometimes think that going to a wedding means you're going to the club. And it's not. It's a classy event.
Yeah.
Right? And so we don't need to show our bottoms. Little cheek action.
I mean,
we see a lot. We see a lot. And let's talk about it.
So I think let's start off with like the most common types of attire. You'll often see these on invitations. Again, this isn't exclusive to special events. If you're going out to a function, out to a venue, out to a club, usually there's dress code restrictions. And so you should know a couple of key phrases and what they mean. Let's start with the most kind of formal, which is black tie.
Yeah.
Black tie is formal.
Let's dig into it.
Black tie is giving James Bond. Black tie is giving red carpet. It's giving tuxedo. It's giving give us a gown.
Black tie is giving the Grammys.
Well, that's
show up and show out.
That's real. There's levels of formality, right?
There's formal black tie, there's black tie, right? So if it has the formal in front of it, then you give it
ball gowns.
Like show up and show out.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think black tie in general, I think you should lean towards more formal.
Correct.
maybe more conservative from a dress
Right.
perspective.
Tie, bow tie.
Not a black shirt. I'm not a fan of a black shirt with a tuxedo.
It depends on the vibe.
I like a very like traditional.
I like a nice, clean.
Oh, I
black
like
and
a
white.
long hair. That's all that. I thought you was about to hit us with Little Wayne.
No, I like a nice, clean, like tux, clean look. I like a bow tie.
Semi-formal, also kind of akin. I think it parallels pretty closely, I feel like, with cocktail attire, which I think is less formal than tuxedo, full-on situation. I feel like cocktail, semi-formal is giving more Rock Nation brunch.
Yeah.
It's not casual. Well, I don't know. Rock Nation brunch, there was some casual
I feel like-
personas.
I feel like depending on the area,
That's fair.
or like the city and state that you're in,
Yeah.
and like the culture of the fashion
Yeah.
in those areas, the cocktail attire kind of changes.
Yeah.
But I feel like if we're talking about special events and weddings that are cocktail attire, it's obviously not formal, right? You don't have to wear a gown.
It's
you can be a little-
semi-formal.
Yeah, like it's
Shorter.
more comfortable. You can wear a short dress, a little bit more comfortable, but not jeans.
I was gonna say cocktail hour isn't casual. And I think
Right.
that if it's casual, it will say like business casual or
Yeah.
a smart casual or something like
Right.
that. But if it's saying cocktail hour, I think that there's a level of
If
elevation.
it's saying cocktail hour, girl, the Cosmo is Cosmoing.
If it's saying, what I say?
You said if it's saying cocktail hour.
I'm saying if the invitation says cocktail hour, there's a level of semi,
She said it again.
I mean cocktail attire. If the invitation says cocktail attire, I think that there's a level of like semi-formality that should be understood. Yes, the dress can maybe be a little shorter. You don't have to do like floor length. I think you can even get leaning into a little bit more of those kind of like, I don't even want to say day party. I'm scared to say day party.
No,
'cause
but I know
think-
what you mean. I just think it's like a no jeans.
No jeans.
Honestly, like, and use an iron.
Yeah.
Like is I think what it comes down to.
Agree.
No jeans, use an iron.
Yeah.
I think that's like a good definition.
But I think still have a level of sophistication.
Yeah.
There's a difference between
And bring the fashion.
And there's a difference between cocktail hour and club or cocktail attire and club attire. Those things are not the same. So
We're gonna put
a counter every
time Lo says cocktail hour instead of cocktail attire.
we should talk about just even seasonal, like summer cocktail. I mean, I think that's when it's appropriate to maybe wear like different lighter fabrics and linens.
Or like maxi dresses are
Yeah.
kind of popular, trendy for the outdoor, like spring, summer events. While we're talking about attire though, and attire etiquette, there's one more thing that I think I should raise, and that we've seen, and it's color. So traditionally,
Ooh, child. They go, I might get in trouble for this one.
Why?
I don't know what you could
Traditionally, right, if we're thinking back to the old school values that we were talking about earlier and just etiquette, the proper etiquette is to not wear white to a wedding, unless that's the official dress code, because sometimes that is.
I was gonna say, there's like a trend now where it's
Yeah.
like brides like their guests in white.
Yeah.
And I think if stated,
If that's communicated.
that's appropriate. If not stated, I agree. You should shy away
You should
from
not
the
wear
right
white.
dress.
And that means no white, no cream,
No off-white,
no off-white, no ivory,
no silvery white.
no white.
Yeah, I would shy away from
And
the
the
white.
girls and guys sometimes, like, y'all love a white or like a black and white. Like, just don't wear white.
What about a red lip? We
talked about this.
we have battled it out. Let me tell you, I think we have a
I don't
difference of
think
opinion
anything's
here.
wrong with a red lip.
I would say, I think that it's a fair like controversy though when it comes to like, is it appropriate?
I don't think anything's wrong with a red lip.
I don't either. Personally, I wonder what Grandma would say. We should ask her.
I don't know. We should ask her.
Grandma, can we wear a red lip to a wedding?
I don't think that's inappropriate.
Well, one of our favorite makeup artists, shout out to Lauren. We often as planners, well, me and Leslie like to look the part at events. Planners, I think that's a great tip too. Like looking the part at an event. I know we're like running.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Ooh.
Let's take a pause.
Not even just planners. I think like
Let's take
the
a
vendor
pause.
team in general
Yes.
and proper etiquette.
Yeah.
If you're at a formal event, I get it. We are running around like crazy people in the back usually and working hard Me and Leslie
Sweating.
are legging, sneaker, like sweater girls.
I also feel like our like setup outfit is cute. It's not inappropriate. I feel like it's like nice,
Branded.
trendy, branded.
Nike down.
Nike down. We love a Nike, okay? But I want to just take a pause just because I do feel like vendors, planners, industry friends, and people are watching this. And I would just say, right, as a professional in this field, I do think it's important to always dress the part,
Yeah.
right? I think that just levels you up, right?
Yeah.
When we're at a wedding or an event and we're face front,
Yeah.
right, with people, with guests, with parents, with grandparents, with wedding stakeholders, right, as we call them, I think there's a level of respect that we get because we're dressed.
Yeah. And I'll acknowledge it's not always easy, right?
not.
Like, and there's many times where like one of the two of us will have to pick, and usually you'll get dressed and I'll still be fixing stuff in the back. But like when I have come to a stopping point, I will change. I can't tell you guys how many times we get so much like business from people who are at events, right? And they're like, oh my gosh, it looks so great. But we would love the opportunity. If you know us, you know, like, our partners, our family, our frienders, as you call them. And like, we would love to like introduce you to like the people who are asking too. But sometimes it's like, we don't want you in the t-shirt and I get it. We are grinding in the back and that's amazing. But like also we represent our brand
Correct.
at all times. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind just in general. Like you're not just the help, you're really the face. And so you should look the part. You know what I mean? Cheers to that.
Keep it classy.
Cheers to keeping it classy. You guys drop a comment and let us know if there's anything else you're like, I want to know if this is proper or not, or what is proper. I think that would be great for us to continue to talk about.
Yeah, because I feel like we should continue the conversation. And again, we are so thankful for the subscribers because y'all are subscribing. Subscribing. But y'all don't comment. Like, we need some action.
Oh,
Give us some action.
I thought you want some engagement. I think that's all we got for proper. Is there anything that we didn't talk about?
And pause.
They being recorded as well. They are being recorded.
Who is?
Who's being recorded?
Everybody at the place, whether you're working or not. So
we
like,
should talk about that.
Shout out to Tico. Y'all hear? I
Okay,
don't know
we
if y'all
have
can
an
hear.
idea.
I don't know if he picking up in the mic. Tico had a good point. You guys are being recorded. So we think about like the videographers, the photography team is focused on the couple, but like y'all are in the pics too.
The guests.
So,
And we see what they record.
huh?
We see the video.
Oh, we do.
And other people do sometimes, depending on what it is.
I just think it's being mindful that like not
Yeah.
only are the bride and groom or bride and bride or groom and groom or however you identify being recorded, but like you as guests are being captured too. So I know a lot of, especially millennials and Gen Z, it's turn up culture. It's forget your couch. It's like, we want to vibe and have a good time. You're on candid camera.
You are.
So-
And usually those moments where you're turned are the moments that get published.
So let's drink responsibly.
Yes, and act responsibly.
Amen.
And dress responsibly.
Amen.
And do a little 1-2 responsibly.
Speaking of the 1-2, the bridal party.
Baby.
Let's talk about the bridal party. It's not even bridal party etiquette. I think this is a good
I
opportunity
want to
to
ask you
just,
some parents too.
oh, turn it up. Yes. I think this is a good time to just talk about bridal parties in general. I know that there's some things that have been going around or going viral connected to bridal parties and like do's and
Let's dig
don'ts
into
and
it.
what you should expect.
Yeah. So we're going to dig into bridal party etiquette.
Classes in session.
Classes in session.
We're your professors. You're
Well,
oh,
I am a professor.
period, boo. Cheers to being a professor. Let's
Cheers to sharing my knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna dig into bridal party etiquette. Me and Lo, you know, on wedding day, we see a lot of behind the scenes, right? And during the
like, even
planning
before,
process.
yeah.
We see a lot of behind the scenes and just what happens with bridal parties. And let's talk about it.
Well, I think just starting off, even committing to participating
It's important.
in a bridal party.
It's a big decision.
We hear from brides, we hear from bridal parties all the
I
time.
get side texts like, oh my gosh, less. Like, you know, venting. People
Literally.
venting.
Well, there's a video going around about a girl, I think it's like going TikTok viral, about like a bride who asked a bridesmaid and the bridesmaid declined. And so she was offended. And, you know, there's all of this conversation about whether or not that's appropriate. In short, it might not be your favorite response, but I would rather someone decline if they know that they can't deliver on the expectations versus committing and then not being able to execute what the bride wants. And so I think there's so many different approaches to this conversation. But first of all, I just think people should know, just because you're asked to be in a bridal party doesn't mean you have to accept.
I agree.
I think it comes with a lot of responsibility and commitment financially, from a time perspective. Like, there's a lot of investment, and like, of course, it's such an honor that someone would want you to participate in such a like special moment in their lives. But if you know, maybe financially or from a life circumstance standpoint, you're not able to give, to participate in the ways that would be expected, I think that it's more appropriate to decline than to accept and underdeliver. But even on the reverse of that, brides, like, I think we need to get better about clarifying.
And grooms.
Oh yeah, same too. I think we need to get better about clarifying expectations up front too, right? Like, you guys know your friend group. I know this is a special day. You want to go all in, spend big. You got to make sure your friends and your bridesmaids have spent big money, because it is expensive.
And if they don't, be prepared to spend it.
You know what I mean?
You want them to be a part of it.
Exactly. Or just be mindful or conscious of people's life circumstances. But I think it's helpful to empower your bridesmaids to make the right decision and know that people are really agreeing to sign up and support you, knowing what they're signing up for. It's important to articulate kind of what your expectations are, and your planners can help with that, right? Knowing like where you want your, you know, bachelorette to be, or where you want your venue to be, or kind of like what you expect the price point for a dress to be.
A lot of our clients are, once they kind of get ready to do their bridal party ask, a lot of our clients are actually providing information.
Exactly.
So they'll provide like, you know, here's estimated expense for batch or bachelorette.
You should. Hotel,
here's
travel.
Estimated expense for hair and makeup and dress, right? And here's kind of directionally, from an estimation perspective, about how much I'm gonna ask you to spend, right? I think that's a really good point to communicate. And I think for brides, yes, it might not be, and grooms, it might not be the response that maybe you want if somebody declines, but I also think that you just have to respect that, you know?
And I also don't think people should be punished for that, right? If they're honest with you, that's not hard. I mean, that's not hard.
It's hard.
I think it's hard to say no to someone who you care about. And it's like, for the people who are like, oh, they're at my bridal party, they can't come. That's giving tacky, not classy. Right? Like, if you love them enough to invite them to be part of your bridal party,
then you should love
them.
them.
And if they decline, love them enough to just have them attend as a guest. That's still a level of investment, right? And respect that they care enough to be honest with you up front, versus you complaining in our text messages later because nobody's volunteering to host your bridal shower.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think the second part of that, just going along the bridal party path, I've seen a lot of bridesmaids. I think on wedding day, you have a responsibility to your bride, right?
It is not about you,
It is
poo.
not.
I wish we could put that big over our,
Yes.
it is not about you, poo.
It is not about you, poo.
We don't have to say poo.
Or
Drop
boo.
the poo. Boo.
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 It is not about you, boo.
Period.
Okay? Y'all need to stop being selfish, for lack of better words. On wedding day, take the selfishness away. It's not your day. It's your day to support and love and put your feelings aside as best as you can and just support the bride. And what that looks like to me from the planner side, right, is what do you need? You know, like asking your bride, your friend, what do you need? What can I do to help, right?
It's not even about offering, I think, as much as taking initiative. And I think that there are definitely opportunities. Like, we have bridal party, like video chats and like consultations. I think it's really smart to know up front how you want people to plug in and help day of, because ideally you want to relieve the bride or groom of whatever level of like you know, stress or responsibility. So like peppering them with questions every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They probably don't know the answer, but there's so many things you can just take initiative to do. We've talked before about if the room gets messy, cleaning it up, right? Like asking the bride, being mindful of kind of what's happening. If you hear her say something or see she needs something, or, you know, reaching out to—
If she's walking, pick up her
veil
and her dress train. Like, gee.
And just like, I think any drama that happens, and I get it,
Yeah,
relationships,
keep it
people are
behind the
people.
scenes.
It can be a stressful day, but not exposing the bride or groom to that, I think is really important, because ultimately, like, you're closest to them throughout the day. You're really there as like a protection and a help, not protection from a security standpoint, but like there's 200 people in the room who I want to talk to them, and like they're moving 100 miles a minute and stressed and like have so much to think about. So I really think you're there as a layer to really kind of provide comfort and support and love and make them feel and sit in the joy. And I think like the energy that you bring into those spaces, when you have an attitude that your makeup appointment is too early, that's a dub, right? When you complaining about the food or the hair or
understand a dub.
A dub? Oh, it's like a cancel. Like that's tacky. You're complaining about the time your makeup appointment is.
In short, it's not about you.
Tacky. You complaining about really, like, I get it. Things happen. Life happens. I think planner teams are there. If something goes wrong, talk to the planners, right? But like complaining to the bride, complaining about the other bridesmaids, groomsmen, y'all really be hot mess express on the day of, trying to like drink and go turn up the night before.
Ooh, that's our final point.
I
before
mean,
close. Let's talk about this. We just need to take a pause.
Okay.
Listen.
Not the final point.
Listen. Some of y'all get belligerently drunk before the ceremony, and it is inappropriate. It honestly is. Like, I don't care if you get belligerently drunk in the reception, but there is no reason why you can't walk down the aisle.
I care if you get belligerently drunk during the reception.
I mean, I care too, but it's like there's a time and a place, right? And the ceremony, before the ceremony, is not the place. Like, you should be able to walk.
Or even the reception.
Do we need
if
to
you're
talk
making
about the
a
incident?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Even the reception, or if you're making a toast, like, again, I get that it's a celebration and a turn up. And again, that's encouraged often by the bride and groom. Like, I want to turn up and like celebrate. And it's not about you. So turn up and celebrate responsibly, classily. Is that a word?
Girl, I don't know.
And then in moderation, right? It's like, have your drinks, but don't be so crazy that you can't even like, when's the last time you see the groom? Where's the groom? Nobody knows. What? Like, we're trying to drag the groomsmen out of the back room after the venue is closed. We have seen a lot. Some things.
And it's just manage your liquor.
Yeah.
Especially before the ceremony.
Speaking of bridal party and like belligerence and like drinking and behaving responsibly, let's just get into, I know there's been a lot of chatter on the internets about toast and those like drunk toast and like toast etiquette and do's and don'ts. So I feel like we should talk about that a little bit. I know we personally have like a 2-minute rule that we recommend or have implemented for weddings, but what are some other things that you think are like important to know or consider as appropriate or not from a toast perspective?
Yeah, I think the first thing is like understanding where you are from a belligerence perspective. If you are drunk to the point where you can't communicate can't communicate in an effective manner, then you shouldn't give a toast. And as a planner, all the planners watching, you guys shouldn't be managing that from your side. It's not a cool thing when you have to listen to a drunk person try to talk and babble. So I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing is, a toast is not the time to talk about,
to roast
the bride and the groom. It's not the time. There's a time and the place, right? And in front of their most close family and friends is not the time to say those things.
And I think it's cool if you incorporate like a little levity or a little humor or like little funny things. But number one, I just would recommend, if you don't typically practice public speaking, write it down.
Yeah, and read
Don't
it.
get up there and try to go off the dome like you a rapper. I would not do that. 10 of 10 would not recommend. You guys cannot freestyle.
Not off of the dome.
It is not. I mean, they just get up there like, yeah.
It's not classy.
That's not. I wouldn't do that. I really recommend, and I don't think it's bad. Some of the best speeches I've heard have been people who took the time to be thoughtful and mindful and write it down. Because I think you can really then capture the essence and heart of like what you're trying to say in the couple. 2, I think keep it brief. Like I think,
2 minutes max.
And if you want to have the roast funny session, like I get that. We're young, like we love like that. Do it at the rehearsal dinner. Like there are other opportunities for you to kind of incorporate that.
Yeah, just remember
humor,
your audience.
Everybody a comedian. Like, you know what I mean? Like be mindful of your audience. I think be mindful of, again, you're representing the couple ultimately as some of the closest people in their circle. And so when you get up there, you're sloppy. I just think like it reflects negatively.
It's not classy.
Yeah, at large.
Yeah. A lot of our clients are actually opting to not do toast at the wedding reception. And we've been incorporating them into the day before event, be that a rehearsal dinner or a brunch or whatever that pre-wedding event is.
My stomach just growls so loud. And I probably picked up on the mic.
I believe that is the end of our chapter on etiquette.
I think so. I hope you guys learned something from your classy cousins.
Your classy cousins drinking classy cosmos.
We're going to end it on a higher note because I know Leslie said that you guys don't talk to us, but we actually have some people
that submitted some questions. So
where's my? They're kind of interesting.
What are they?
So we're gonna talk about, don't mind my phone, this is the cheat code, so you know it's real. Okay, couple of questions from, you guys love, I think
drama.
It's the Love is Blind. It's like the Love is Blind thing, I think also kind of inspired one of these. So the first question is, speaking of Love is Blind, are you watching? Are you a fan? No, I have so many thoughts. But one of the things that's coming up in conversation right now is like, what do you do if someone says no at the altar? I don't think I don't think we really, but only because in our case, 9 times out of 10, people have already signed up and agreed to the terms and conditions, but
and paid a lot of money.
It is true that people can't object. Circumstances change. Someone might blow up the spot the day before, and then there's a surprise. What would you do? What would you do if we were at a wedding and one of the couple, like people said no?
I think I would probably from the back, like tell them to come down the aisle. And then I would probably, kind of give the efficient guidance to close the ceremony.
Wrap it up. I'm giving the wrap it up sign in the back. I would think I would be like,
yeah, I would be shook.
I don't know what I would do.
I would be shook.
Honestly, at the end of the day, it's kind of on the efficient to manage that situation.
Unless we were to walk back down the aisle, yeah. If it was just super awkward and the efficient didn't know what to do, then one of us would have to walk down the aisle.
But we've never.
Oh my gosh, that would be an experience.
Okay, question number 2. What is the craziest thing that's ever happened at a wedding? I know mine.
You go first.
We had an altar fall down.
Oh my gosh.
We literally
did have an altar fall down, but it wasn't our fault.
It wasn't. We were a day of coordinator for a beautiful
this is
couple.
Way back when.
This was back in the days.
Yeah, we don't even offer a day of coordination
Leslie.
I'm just saying. We
offer we were traumatized.
Full service only.
You guys, we were traumatized. This was the last day of coordination we ever did. And we learned so much of this moment. Literally, the ceremony is live.
Going.
The couple's under the altar going. The officiants up in the front of the room, the bridal party. And I knew the altar looked a little shaky. But, we just came to execute on the plan that was established.
The best man and the maid of honor were like trying to hold the altar up.
Well, because it started rocking.
It started, yeah. And so they're like holding it.
I don't even know. And then it started literally falling. And the only thing.
In slow motion.
I impulsively just like ran to the front.
official was like, can somebody And
Oh
so
my
Lo
gosh.
just walked down the aisle
I don't
in
even
the middle of the ceremony.
down the aisle in the middle of the ceremony and like tried to catch the.
I don't even
big
know
ol-
what you did.
I'm not even like a tall This is like a 6-foot arch. I'm like 5'4", trying to hold back the arch. I think the bridal party kind of helped, and we just got it back to like a
It was an experience.
stable condition. And I was like, do not touch anything. I'm like talking under my breath, and I pranced back down the aisle. That was so
It was
embarrassing. Is there anything else that's been super embarrassing? Oh my gosh, we could talk about the dance floor.
Yeah. The
We
dance
love you,
floor.
Jazz. When we were trying to stick down that vital,
That was not embarrassing.
it wasn't.
I think an embarrassing thing that happened to me, actually
Okay.
at Akia's wedding, you got COVID.
Not name dropping.
Yeah, you had COVID that day.
Love you.
I was walking in the reception and I had on a gown, and my gown ripped like from the zipper all the way down. So one of the bridesmaids was like, Les? And like my dress had ripped open. So I know it was a black dress. I don't think I ever told you this. It was a black dress with like design, and like it had a white padding under. So it just looked like white, like padding. You could tell that like the dress was roped open.
I got you beat.
What?
LaJoy and Tico.
Yes. We're gonna have to add this to this. We're gonna have to add the video.
We might
so
have
y'all
good
can see.
footage.
Oh my gosh.
LaJoy and Tico, who we adore. You guys know we adore them. We were doing their wedding, which was beautiful, a beautiful wedding at the Porsche Experience Center. And during the first dance, I was trying to capture.
And it's an intimate micro wedding.
Okay.
So there's like, I think 70 to 90 people.
You ain't got it.
It was not a lot of people around the dance floor. So very intimate, and like all the attention was on the bride and groom.
First of all, it was the first dance.
the first dance.
And I was bent down trying to take some video, and there was like these big planters in the venue, and they looked heavy, and it was given restoration hardware, heavy, expensive, like concrete. It was not. And so I'm like squatted down in my little dress and my little heels trying to balance for stability. And I like leaned back a little bit onto the planter, and the planter goes back and like bangs the glass. I like fall on the floor, and literally everybody's just like,
Yeah.
it was so embarrassing.
It was very embarrassing.
I
Not
think-
just for you, but for me too.
It was so embarrassing, but we loved them. That was probably that
That was
fall.
embarrassing.
And it was just so, you know, when you're trying to be quiet, extra quiet and sneaky, and then
then you're
something,
loud.
and that's how it felt. And everybody was literally like,
Yeah.
and Leslie was looking at me. She was so
I was so
ashamed.
embarrassed. Anyway, and that concludes our episode of Cocktail Hour with Leslo at the Estate. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and
Always keep it classy. Oh,
we're about to break the glasses. That was real classy, girl.
okay, we give up. Cheers. Shout out, thank you to the Estate and Legendary Events for having us.
I'm out of Cosmo.
And we'll see you guys next episode.
And cut.
Shake it.
Why?
I don't know. It's hard for me to hold things like this. You shake it too.
Welcome back to Cocktail Hour with Leslo. We are, you want me to introduce Les and Lo again?
No, it's okay. Just vibe, girl. Just vibe.
That was
baby.
vibrant.
Because you said, welcome back and welcome to Cocktail Hour with Leslo. Well, you said, welcome back and welcome to the Estate. Like, okay. Okay. All right, go. Cheers. We're going to have a good episode. We're going to flow. We're going to flow.
Okay.
Rolling with the homies.
And award-winning team
Period.
in Atlanta, and they were so nice to let us film. What are you doing? Oh my God. You were flowing.
I'm sorry, I spilled on the mic, I think. Somebody help.
Are you serious?
Help! I'm a child. I'm so sorry. I told y'all I was shaky trying to hold the cocktail.
I'm disgusted with you. I'm disgusted.
Okay.
You get on my nerves.
I spill all over myself. I'm so embarrassed. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, go.
And where are we starting from?
Legendary events.
Well, you had a nice little pun, and you put it out.
I don't know how we gonna make it. This will be okay.
Welcome back, and welcome. Hello.
I'm sorry. Are you gonna say anything? You gonna jump in at any point? You're like, I talk so much, but I don't know what else to do.
That's good.
Okay.
I mean, one of the trends right now is just tapping into your femininity, right? And somehow you can't be feminine because y'all don't know how to set a table, child.
First of all, masculine people can set a table
I
too.
know. I'm just saying along the lines of that trend that's going on.
Okay, soft girl energy.
Lo wants us to cut that part. She ain't like that.
Well, I will say, we've talked, I lost my train of thought. Okay, what's etiquette lesson 2 with Leslo?
Etiquette lesson number 2.
She ain't got no etiquette.
So one of the things that we find a lot that is, I think that it is just improper. We got to cut that. Improper or improper?
It's gonna be in the blueprint.
As I'm talking about etiquette.
As you're talking about etiquette.
It's LaJoy sleep for me. Sis is knocked out.
Can we get that on camera? No, we can't. She'll
Can
kill
we
us.
turn the camera?
Don't turn the camera.
Okay.
Love you, Edith.
Love you, Nina. And that concludes our episode of Cocktail Hour with Leslo at the Estate.
Period. No, you're supposed to say, I said period, like a city girl. Talk about keeping it classy. Okay, one more time.